Hey, Georgiana, I'm coming to you from the sanctuary this week. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing well and that you're progressing steadily. So, one of the questions I'm getting from people all the time is, hey, when are we going to get back to live worship? And I think that's a legitimate question, and we're not trying to not give you an answer. We're just in the process of getting ready. Like right now in the sanctuary, I can look, we've got the seats all set up for social distancing. We're in the process of ordering the things we need to have present on Sunday morning in order for us to have a safe environment for you to be in. But I want to be transparent and honest about what we're dealing with. The elders met Monday night to talk about return to worship, and we created a list of questions and answers that we will be sending out to you in a couple of weeks for a potential July return to live worship. So probably late in July. And part of the reason that we're delaying is that because there is zero agreement in our culture and country about what to do about masks, right? Whether we should wear masks, not wear masks, this kind of thing. And we believe that we are gathering not just to gather, we gather to worship. The reason to come back to this building is to be able to have a full body experience of worship, to be able to sing and to have fellowship. And while we know that we can't hug one another, we can't shake hands, we want to have the fullest ability to worship when we're back in this room. And so we're hoping that by being patient, that will come to pass. And you guys know that I'm not the most patient guy in the world, but I think this is a season to be patient. I want to share a passage of scripture that I love. It comes from the book of Joshua, chapter 24. It begins in verse 14. It says, "Now fear the Lord and serve him with all faithfulness. Throw away the gods your ancestors worshiped beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt and serve the Lord. But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or the gods of the Amorites in the land you are now living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." I love that declaration. As for me and my household, we're going to serve the Lord. So I invite you to be thinking about whether your home has become a place of worship, right? That on Sunday mornings and then throughout the week, does it carry over now that your living room and your community spaces have become a place of worship? Well, could you declare, as Joshua did, as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord, right? So as we're in this season of exile, right, we're exiled away from our house of worship generally. We want to be mindful of the fact that the Bible teaches us those that were in exile, who returned from exile, the ones who did really well, as we see in the book of Daniel, were the ones who maintained spiritual disciplines and practices, like worshiping, like praying, like reading the word, right? And being deep down in the word. So I want to invite us to think about preparing our hearts for the day when we can be back in this room, whatever that might look like, right? This is what I'm doing. This is what our staff is doing. This is what your elders are doing, is preparing our hearts to be back in this room. So here's the other thing that I want to share. I think I've made it abundantly clear in the last 2 weeks that I abhor racism, right? I abhor it. It is the worst form of sin that just permeates our world, right? So I think I've been clear about that. And our church and this pastor, we're going to do everything we possibly can to fight racism wherever we find it. That being said, I also want to say something to the men and women in our church who are law enforcement officers. I want to say to you, we love you. I think the culture right now is painting with a very wide brush, right? We're just being very generalistic about how we lump everybody together. And I want the men and women in our church, who I know to be godly men and women, who are serving sacrificially in our communities, whose families serve sacrificially as they send their loved ones in to do a dangerous job day in and day out. I want to say to you today, we love you. We respect you. We find value in what you provide for our community. And so I just wanted to take a public stance here to say that we are behind you, right? We've got your back. And we don't want to do life without you. So thank you for what you've brought to our church. Thank you for what you mean to our community, and know that we're grateful for all you do. So the last thing you need to know is that, yes, about 80% of my wardrobe has a Gator logo on it. I don't know why that is, but it is. And right now, I'm not dressing up for anything because I'm not meeting with anybody, and I can look pretty good on Zoom. In fact, I look really good on Zoom. I think on Zoom I weigh about 195 pounds. I'm not sure, but I think it's about 195 pounds. So this is the ramblings of a pastor who's been stuck in exile, who's ready for us all to be back together. I share with you, we start a new series this coming Sunday on the names of God. I think it's going to be a powerful summer. We've got a guest preacher coming in a couple of weeks. You are going to love him. I'm so excited about that. So lots of good things happening. I just want to tell you, thank you for being patient. Thank you for hanging in there with us. We're going to be back together one day soon. And when we do, it's going to be powerful. So I love you and have a great week.